you know exactly what the right call is. You've known for 3 days and you still have not made it. Hi, my name is Tami Imlay. I'm an executive leadership strategist and advisor, and this is a Leader's Purpose podcast. You're sitting in a seat where the decisions you make are visible, they're impactful, and they're felt by everyone around you, and you're carrying a weight of the organization. And most of what you've been handed about leadership isn't wrong, it's just backwards. And I've spent years studying what drives performance at the highest levels. And every week, I bring you what I've learned, the patterns, the reframes, and the things that no one's saying out loud. So you can stop managing your leadership and start trusting it. You already have what it takes. This is where you get to remember that. So let's do it. Before I get into today's episode and myth number 2, if you've been listening and something's been landing for you, I want to point you to something specific. I put together a private audio series called The Invisible Weight, Why Leaders Who Earned It are the ones it hits hardest. 6 episodes built for leaders at your level, and it goes deeper than anything I do here on the podcast. Link is in the show notes, so go check it out, but wait till after the podcast. But welcome back to week 2 of the Leadership Myth series. Last week, we went up after the collaboration myth, and if that one landed, I want you to stay close because this one might be a little bit even more familiar. And if you haven't listened to it yet, go back and listen. I'm telling you, it is really good. And I've got some really great feedback about it and about this distinction because I talked about how collaboration and execution are not the same thing. So this week, I'm going to go after something even more ingrained that you need most right now is clarity. And I've worked with some of the most capable leaders I have ever met who had complete clarity on what needed to happen, and they still couldn't get the decision to hold. So clarity is not the problem. And today I'm going to show you what is. You have the clarity and the decision still doesn't hold. You may be thinking like, I know what needs to happen. I've known for days and I'm still thinking about this at 10 o'clock or I'm replaying it at 10 o'clock. The decision gets made and then gets revisited. You have little check-ins. You have, hey, what about this, boss? Or, hey, Susie, can you consider this angle as well? But by Wednesday, you're auditing it. By Friday, someone on the team is asking you if it's still even the direction you're going. So you're waiting for this feeling that is not coming. Feeling with more information, more input, more certainty before committing. And that feeling is not coming the way you're waiting for it. And can I tell you something? It's really costing your team. First is they're watching. They are watching every time you are uncertain about a decision, or every time you relitigate it, or every time you ask for a check-in. Every time the direction wavers, they recalibrate. They're taking their cues from you. They want to show up for you. You are an amazing leader, and they want to serve you well and serve their people well as also. And so they start waiting too. Here's what's going on, and it's not a clarity problem. Most senior leaders don't lack clarity. They lack decision stability, and those are built completely different. So we know what clarity is, right? It's knowing what call is right, having enough information to move, and understanding the direction. And a lot of times we believe that it should be like a moment where, the fogged mirror becomes clear. Or in the car when you are, it's still foggy in the morning, right? When we wake up. And so we get in the car and you have to turn it on and the windshield clears. That's what we're waiting for with clarity. And so we want to understand the direction. We want to see the clear path. But what clarity cannot do is it can't make decisions hold. It can't help you to stop second guessing. And it can't keep the team moving when pressure builds. But decision stability, what even is that? That's the call that gets made and stays made. Not because there's no doubt, because there's never a time that we are so certain in a direction. We can't be fortune tellers. We don't know what's coming. But we can make the decision and we can work around it, but keep the decision made. It's not because there's no doubt, but it's because I'm not waiting for the doubt to disappear before I commit. This industry, our leadership development and coaching and advising and everything you'll see loves selling in clarity. And I'm sure every time you go to LinkedIn, you see a meme, you see a infographic, I think is what they're called for LinkedIn. But you see it all about, you just need clarity. You just need, clarity is what you're building. And you see retreats about clarity. You see frameworks for clarity. You see journaling for clarity. And those are all great. And yet here we are, still revisiting Monday's decision on Thursday. Clarity tells you what to do, but decision stability is what makes it hold. You can have complete clarity and still have zero stability. And that is exactly what most senior leaders are living with right now. Does this resonate? But see, where does this gap show up? The decision that leaves my desk, but not my head. The decision this call that I make, and then quietly monitor signs for, is it wrong? Or could I have made a better one? So many times we just want to do 1% better, right? And what's wrong with trying to be better? But it costs us. Every time we have to redo a decision, relitigate, every time we have to shift a decision, it costs us. And the team senses the wobble even when you have not said a word. And let me let you in on a little, not so secret. I was reading some research from McKinsey and Company. I love finding the stats, the research behind everything that I do, because it just validates it. It just validates how important it is. And I want to make sure that what I'm doing is bringing you value. It's bringing you something that's top of mind for you. Well, let me tell you what McKinsey and Company recently found, that only 20% of organizations excel at decision making. So the 20% that excel generate up to 6% higher returns to stakeholders. And what does this mean? Most decisions don't hold. They get revisited, they get reworked, they get quietly undone, and that drag shows up financially. So we're looking at 80% of organizations do not excel at decision making. These myths are not ones I'm coming up with on my own. These are ones that I'm seeing in my clients. I'm seeing in the leadership teams that I work with. And also the research is backing them up. I mean, I think this McKinsey and Company study, they polled over 20,000 leaders from across the world and organizations from across the world. It's crazy. But these myths keep coming up. And addressing these myths, taking them serious and looking at it, because self-awareness is the first step. Understanding, am I a good decision maker? It's the first step. And addressing these will increase your effectiveness, your productivity, and your leadership. And again, I want this to land, because I know you are not in the leadership for the fun of it. You're not in this leadership position on a whim, and because it matters to you. It's hard, but you're choosing this hard. It matters to you because of your team. It matters to you because of the stakeholders you answer to. It matters because of the impact that you want to make. So what does decision stability look like when you have it? So when you have this, when you are part of that 20% of the organizations that generate up to 6% higher returns to shareholders, it looks like the call that gets made on Monday and is still standing on Friday. Not because nothing challenged it, because the leader who made it did not waver when it got hard. You stuck with your decision and you worked with it. The team that executes because the decision held, they stop waiting for the revision. They stop waiting for or even inviting. They stop at your office and say, hey, have you considered this? They stop routing everything back through you, and they move because you moved. Excuse me. Allergies are going crazy. What does this internally look like? You made the call. You feel the doubt, because the doubt's not going to go away, but you led through it anyway. It's not fearlessness. It's stability, and it's very different. What do your evenings look like? You leave work at home. You're not auditing every decision you already made. You're not replaying conversations over and over. You're present for the life outside of your role, because our work is meant to feed our life, and our life is meant to feed our work. One's not meant to take over. And the leader with decision stability does not need the room to validate the call before you make it. You make it, it holds, the team moves, and is available to you right now. And again, this is not saying that you have to make every decision yourself, but you listen to the collaboration, right? We talked about that last week. You hear the options, you assign an owner, you execute, you have the team execute, and you keep moving. So that's myth 2. 4 more to go. And next week, I'm going after gut instinct. And this one's one of my favorite ones because I've leaned on it so much in my life. This one's going to make some people push back a little bit, but I'm okay with it, because especially when leaders who have been told this their whole career to trust it. So subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss it. The Invisible Weight private audio is in the show notes. And this is where we go even deeper in the conversation. So I'm going to see you next week. And well, bye for now.